Welcome to episode 4 of the Passion Lab. Today I have the great opportunity to speak with my best friend for many, many years, Preston Bateman. Preston and I have been friends since I think we were both 2 years old, and so we've lived a lot of life together. Preston, welcome to the Passion Lab.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Preston. Before we jump in, this podcast, obviously we've known each other for so long. We've been friends for pretty much forever, before I can remember at least. Why don't you give the listeners a bit of a background on who you are?
Sure. So, my name's Preston Bateman. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and I'm currently studying stats at BYU.
Awesome. That's great. And Preston, obviously we're here on the Passion Lab where we love to talk about people's passions and things they love. Why don't you give us what are we going to be talking about with you today? What's your passion that we're going to be discussing?
So, we're going to talk about tennis
All right.
and the amazing sport that it is.
I'm excited, Preston. One little side note before we dive in for the listeners. Ever since I was a little kid, Preston always had something that he was like fixated on. So whether it was like chess or golf or baseball or whatever it was, I feel like there's always something you've been really passionate about, and so that's something that's been a defining factor of like our friendship. I think that's really cool. So I'm super excited to talk about tennis today because it's been something that's been part of your life for so long. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of a background on your relationship with tennis and like, yeah.
Okay, so like you said, I had passions growing up, and I played like every sport. And then in 8th grade, I played like football, basketball, whatever, lacrosse. In 8th grade, a bunch of my buddies were like, "Hey, we're gonna go play tennis." It was Jack Cotter, Logan, and Eric Kwan, Patrick Keogh, and they were like, "We're gonna go play for the 8th grade team." And I was like, "Oh, sounds interesting."
Yeah.
And so I told my mom, I was like, "Mom, I want to go play." And there was a month before the season started, and so me and my mom went and played um, for that first month, and like I got like quite a bit better, and then I started playing, and I was comfortable on the court, and I started just to like really enjoy the sport and lose myself in it, and found great friends in it, and it became something super special to me, and I decided to stick with it.
That's awesome. I didn't know that actually. I thought maybe you started at your freshman year of high school, but I forgot that you'd started when you were in eighth grade. That's awesome. So started pretty young, what, 14, 13 years
Yeah,
old?
13 years old.
13.
So that was 9 years ago. I can't believe
That's crazy.
I can even say 9 years ago about
Yeah.
anything. But yeah, 9 years ago, and I remember I started to play, and I was not the best kid on the team. I was like middle of the pack, regular old Joe. And I remember thinking to myself though when I played, I was like, dude, I play for an hour, and I none of me wants to leave. When I do like other activities,
Yeah.
like I I keep track of time. When I start reading, there's like a mental timer, like this is boring.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, close the book and go do something. When I play tennis, it's like, no, like there's no part of me that wants to leave the court. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, like I like this sport, and like I don't want to stop. I don't want to leave. It'd be 2 hours, and I'd be like, I have to leave? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I knew. I was like, dang, this sport is fun.
So that kind of sounds like a moment where you're like, you had loved so many things, but you kind of had an expiration date on all of them. That was like a moment where you realize like, hey, this is something that's a little more special than the average thing that I've been doing.
100%. Like the main thing is I realized I lost track of time. I would set a timer on my watch, and I'd see like the first time I'd look at my watch, it'd be like an hour 30.
Holy.
Any other activity would be like I'd look at it'd be like 10 minutes. I'd be like, oh, what the heck? Let's do something else. I get so distracted.
Yeah.
And I think the other element of it is that it makes you lose track of time, and yeah, you don't want to. There's nothing else in the world that you're thinking about. That's why I enjoyed it so much. I remember thinking it involves so much mental effort to play
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't thinking about literally anything else. I also swam, but when I would swim, oh my gosh, dude, swim sets, I'd just be thinking about life, like
Yeah.
school, girls, grades, and like church, whatever, like whatever else I was doing. When I was in tennis, you don't have the mental energy
Yeah.
to think about anything but that. So it's like you get locked in the zone. And that was super
Dang.
special.
That's really cool. Would you say there was like a moment, like either throughout your high school or where it became like, okay, like I really enjoy this, where it switched to something that like I want to pursue this like for a long time rather than just like I'm enjoying this as a high school sport, but I'll probably be done with it after high school. When did it kind of switch where you're like, man, I really like this, but I want to do more than I have been doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So eighth grade I started. Ninth grade was high school, and we had a coach named Coach Kelly. He was the basketball coach. Not really a tennis player, but I had played all summer just to see. I was like, I'll see how good I can get this summer because we have freshman year coming up. And then I played, and I was able to get on the varsity team. And my coach Kelly, he said, "What spot do you want to play?" He's like, "I'll let you pick. You can pick singles, doubles, whatever." And I was like, "What? What the heck?" Like, I've been playing for 8 months,
Yeah.
and he's already asking me like, "You can pick." And I wasn't the best player on the team, but I was good enough to play on the varsity, and I that just gave me a lot of confidence. And that's when I was like, "Wow, I like this." Not only because do I enjoy it, but I'm like gifted at it, or like I've been just blessed with like the ability to get better at it. So that's when I realized like I kind of like this and I'm good at it, so it works well.
Yeah. Sounds like that little like bit of confidence you didn't know you needed was the one thing that's like, so you're saying that I can do like whatever I can do singles, I can do doubles, like giving like obviously I at least the way I would think about it is like that's reserved for the number one player on the team.
Yeah,
When you ask that question, what where do you want to play? It's like, okay, I must be the best. But that even if you weren't necessarily, that like statement just instilled a level of confidence that can't be mimicked by anything else.
yeah, and I think the thing was he didn't see my skill; he saw my effort. Like the first 2 weeks were just running, and I was like always going till like I was going about to pass out. And I think he kind of saw that and was like, okay, we need to give this kid opportunity or just confidence or whatever. And so he knew it definitely wasn't the best, but that if if I if he gave me that confidence boost, that I would be more committed. I think.
Yeah.
So I think he knew what he was doing, but yeah,
Yeah, to kind of like, I guess, talk about one of those things you just said where he said maybe I need to give this kid opportunity. It, you're not going to improve unless you like play against people who are better than you, obviously. And so, at least a theme that I kind of in a prior podcast that I recorded with a friend, actually our other friend named Preston, he talked about how when he's surrounded or has competition that's excellent or at even higher level, we have the opportunity to either rise to the occasion as a competitor or to shrivel up in fear and like think like, oh, I'm not good enough. But like obviously that coach seems like he said, okay, this kid is good. He has a lot of effort and he needs to be put in these situations where he'll have the opportunity to go against these excellent competitions so that he can also grow and exceed where he is at now.
yeah, I 100% agree.
I think that's so awesome. I think that's like to have that kind of coach who has the foresight of like maybe this guy isn't the greatest now, but if I give him these opportunities, he will have the opportunity to go. I think it takes an excellent coach to be able to see that because it could be like, oh, we need to win, so we need to make sure that the best guys are there. But to be able to give someone that maybe showed the effort and showed the willingness, but didn't necessarily have the raw skills yet is a I don't know, it's a confidence booster. So I think that's really really cool.
Just to add on to that real
Yeah,
quick,
of
is
course.
like, in my opinion, like a good coach, they're able to judge skill really well, but a great coach, they're able to judge potential. And like that's the difference, right? Just like you said,
Yeah,
is that's what makes scouts that, pick draft for the NBA. That's what makes good scouts good. They see potential and
yeah,
it's special.
yeah. It's a special skill that not everybody has. Um, to kind of go back, you were talking about it earlier as far as like tennis, you have to be 100% mentally locked in the whole time. And if you're not, and you're just a little bit in la la land, you're gonna make a split second decision that's too late. You're not gonna get to the ball fast enough. You're not gonna make the right hit. There's such a small margin for error. How do you stay so sharp in your mental game throughout? I mean, tennis matches are long. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think most people realize how long it is to do a tennis match. It's not only is it like the precision and the skill of hitting the ball, it's having the endurance to run for a long time. How do you stay mentally sharp throughout such a long, is it 6 set game?
Yeah. So there's a to win one set, you need to win 6 games.
6 games.
And to win a match, you need to win 2 sets or 3 sets, depending on the format.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, it adds up. The
Yeah.
longest tennis match I played, I think, was almost 4 hours.
Holy
And
smokes.
then the shortest ones are like an hour. But yeah, super. I think to lock in, I don't know. I think you love it. And because you love it and you want to win, you're locked in. So for me, it wasn't like I have to force myself to lock in. It was just like the natural thing of like the ball is coming at me every 3 seconds. If I stop thinking for 1 second, think about school or I think about home, I just lost the point. you
Yeah.
know, and I don't want to lose. So you're locked in, and so I think it's a mixture of the love of the sport and also just the nature of the sport, where like the ball is literally coming at you every 3 seconds, and you have no choice.
Hmm.
Whether you want it or not, the ball will come back, right?
Yeah. How do you, I guess if you make an error, I mean, it's going to happen. What is it? I've seen a stat where it must have been Federer or Jokic or something. Not Jokic, that's a basketball player. Jokovic, like where he only won like 57% of I can't remember who it was. Maybe you know the quote, but he only won 57% of the like the rallies back and forth, and he's one of the greatest tennis players of all time. When you make an error, because it's inevitable, because you're not going to win every point, how do you not let that bog you down to say, oh, like where it beats you up, and you say, do you have like mental cues that you like say to yourself, or just things that you do to stay switched on after you make an error?
Yeah, so that's the mental battle of tennis is statistically, right? If you're playing equal skill, you're gonna make a mistake 50% of the time, and they're gonna make the mistake 50% of the time. And what that means is when you lose the point, you're gonna doubt is gonna creep in if you let it. And then when doubt creeps in, the next shot you're gonna be a little more timid. This is every tennis player knows this. You get a little bit more scared. You get a little more conservative with your shots, and it's not good because you're not relaxed.
Mm.
And so that's the mental game of tennis. And for me, that's what I struggled with. I mean, I would say it wasn't easy. I think every tennis player struggles with that. That is the game of tennis. It's okay, I just lost a point, or I just lost a game, or I just lost a set. Like, am I going to stay relaxed? Am I going to stay locked in? Or am I going to start to seize up, like lock up and hit soft shots? Because I only want to hit it in. So like there's an interplay of, am I playing to win, or am I playing not to lose? Am I playing to hit a good shot, or am I playing just to hit it in? And when you focus on just hitting it in, you're playing it out of fear. And that's when you lose. And when you play out of, I can do it, and belief, that's when you win. And so right, Djokovic, right, wins 57% of the rallies, but he'll win 80% of the matches. And that's because, right, like if you did rock, paper, scissors, 2 out of 3, best 2 out of 3, over and over and over, right, although you may lose one, or you're only winning like 66%, you could win a much larger percentage. That's just the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Is you could win every set in tennis 6-4, and you win every set. It looks like 3-0.
Yeah.
Because you won all the sets. But each set was 6-4. So it looks closer, but then it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating. I think for most people, like, it's an interesting mindset. It seems like the same to be playing to win or playing not to lose, but when you break down what goes into those different mindsets, it's just completely different.
Yeah, completely different.
It's just like, I don't want to lose. You're playing out of fear almost.
Absolutely.
Instead of having the confidence to say I can win. And so I just think like that's such a fascinating like distinction between the two, where if you were to say, oh, I don't want to lose, you already kind of lost yourself, because you're accepting like, oh, I'm gonna lose. So
That mental game, it has an objective effect on your game, where literally because you're playing soft shots, you will actually miss more. Because you're playing not to lose, you will end up missing more, and you'll end up losing the game. Like it happens every time.
wow, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I have not played much tennis in my life, and I don't think there's many games like tennis. I think tennis is pretty unique in that way, to where you're like, it's not like you could do that in golf. Golf is 100% on yourself. You can't do that in like, I guess like table tennis technically is the same way because it's a similar sport. But I think it's so fascinating how switched on you have to be, and how mentally strong you have to just bounce back. You can't wallow in your error.
Yeah, you cannot.
If you wallow, you've lost.
You've got to move on. Yeah.
Because then your mind's on what happened in the past, and so you're not 100% present in what's happening right now. That's amazing. Is there a match, I guess, either in high school or college when you played at the Merchant Marine Academy for a year? Is there a match that like stands out to you as like probably like the best match you've ever played, or just stands out for whatever reason?
Okay. I'll share a story from high school.
Okay.
This was my senior year, and there's leagues, and there were 8 teams in our league, and I was in the semifinals to go to the championship, and I got an ingrown toenail during the tournament because I was kept sliding on my feet.
Yeah.
And so my toe just blew up. And so the night before the semifinal, my dad brought me to a podiatrist, and I got surgery on my toe to get it pulled out.
Yeah.
The problem was the next day it was bleeding, and it hurt like heck.
Yeah.
And so I had this match, and so I show up to the match. I had my toe wrapped like a ton, and I have a big sock on it, and I take like 8 Advil. And I kid you not, I was like, oh, I'll be fine, like I won't die. If I have to have 100 to actually be harmful, but I was like, I'll take 8. So I take 8, and the pain goes down. I could still feel it, and I just played. You know how like when your foot hurts, you like limp.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do that. Like I need to just play like my foot doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Just play like nothing is wrong. I played the whole match, didn't look at my feet, and then I ended up losing the match. But after the match, I opened my shoe, and my whole sock was pretty much red.
Holy.
And the inside of my shoe was red. It was just blood. And I thought to myself after, I was like, even though I lost that, like, that was cool. Like, I just played for 2.5 hours, 3 hours after I got surgery on my toe, and I loved every second of it, And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a pretty fun memory for me.
Yeah. What do you think that taught you the most? Like, going through, I mean, obviously your foot probably hurt so bad, but you said that you just like had to play like it was normal.
Mm-hmm. I think it taught me a couple of things. Like I lost, but I had the time of my life, and it taught me like win or lose, like have a fun time, and also like a lot of the suffering we have is in our head, right? When we limp around and our foot kind of hurts, maybe we actually don't need to limp,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of our suffering is mental. It's imagined, right? It's not literal, right? I wasn't letting the idea of physical suffering make me suffer in my imagination, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, the pain is going to be there, but I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to act like it's not there. And that's not good for everything in life. Like some things need to be addressed, but for that instance, I think it was perfectly appropriate.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, just to be able to say, okay, like, yes, it's there. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's still going to be there afterwards. But just like, it's a moment that you've been, I mean, it's your senior year. It's like inevitably like the last time you might be able to play tennis or whatever. I mean, you might go on to the next round or whatever, the districts or whatever. But being able to just say, like, I'm going to be here and I'm going to give it my all. It's not fair to my competitor if I just say, kind of walk it in. Be like, oh, I just had surgery yesterday. Like most people could like get all these excuses up in their head and then play miserably, play horribly, not play up to the standard that they've been playing, even though there might be some justification in the end, like, oh, my foot hurt. But being able to like just be mentally switched on and say, no, like I'm here, I'm giving you my all. I'll address it later. It's gonna hurt, but I'm here and I'm staying here and I'm staying locked in the whole time. I think that's something that like you said, it's not good for everything. But I think that's a superpower to be able to have for you by saying, like, I'm going to, like, push it off to the side for now. I think it's so applicable in many aspects of life. If we think about, like, I don't know, oftentimes we're so stressed about what will happen in the future, about, like, we're on edge and we're, like, just not staying present in where we are. Like, for example, like, if we're having a conversation and I'm worrying about the test that I have next week, that's like a really big test, going to have really big implications on my education. I'm not able to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm not be able to stay present. I'm not going to be able to have an ideal conversation with you because I'm in the future. And so not locked in on what's happening right now. And so I think the ability to turn off our brain on things that are distracting us from the present is such an ability that oftentimes I think is being lost because of social media or just the internet or just kind of the way that life has become. So I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah, that's kind of the virtue of passion itself, is that it forces you to be present, right? And I think you're totally right. Like, you can only be in one place at one time, right? So if I had been in that tennis match and thought about my toe the whole time, which I can only take care of after the match, what good is it going to do to think about it the whole match? Or let's say we're having a conversation for 30 minutes and you have a test next week. What good, how much better are you going to do on your test because you thought about the test while we talked.
Yeah.
Not any better.
Nothing. The worrying about it is not. It's gonna it does you nothing.
As you
It
know.
does nothing for you besides getting you more stressed, and
Exactly.
you'll do worse
You will
because
do
of
worse. Just like the tennis shot where you get worried about, so you do worse the next time. And
it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's a really. I'm gonna have to think about that for a while. I have to journal about there's something tonight. It's something that needs to be explored. To kind of go to obviously you were in high school. You played tennis in high school, and then you played for 1 year in college when you were at the Merchant Marine Academy. You want to tell me a little bit about that transition? Because obviously, naturally, going from a high school level to a college level is a jump
Yeah.
in competition. You want to tell me a little bit about that, how that was?
Yeah, 100%. So in high school, I didn't know my only like barometer for skill level was high school. So my freshman year of high school, I was played doubles two, and then my next year, I wasn't expecting it, but like I practiced enough, I got to singles one. And if you don't know, like in levels of tennis, that's like the top spot. So my sophomore, junior, senior year, I was singles one at my high school, and it made it a little bit harder to get better because the people I was kind of playing lower. But I thought I was like, dang, I'm pretty good, or like I can hang, right? And then I went off to play college, and I was like, I got this, like maybe I'll get the third spot or the fourth spot on this roster. And wait, I played D3 college tennis, and by no means was it in a fantastic team, but I sucked compared to my teammates. And the cool thing about it was it didn't pull the joy of tennis away from me, but it just it put in perspective like my skill level. And I realized that my joy of like my joy I found the joy I found in tennis was not attached to my skill level, but just purely the joy of the moment. But it did put into perspective like there are levels to this, and that was really humbling. And I learned to just be like, I'm fine with not being the best. It's completely fine, and I actually just love being a part of the team. And I learned to just enjoy rooting for my teammates instead of always being the one who was being rooted for. And so that was a great lesson I learned.
Yeah. That's so. I mean, you'd think, oh, I've been the best player for 3 years in my high school. I've been so good, and to go to a higher level where you're like, oh, it's not that much higher. Like it's only D3, like this and that. To like, me be like, dang, I'm kind of bad.
Yeah,
It's a very humbling moment to be like, oh wow, my barometer for success is broken now.
is broken. Yeah,
It's been completely shattered, and I need to recalibrate to like, okay, what's going on here? Like I'm not as good as I used to be, but like your skill level hasn't changed, just your competition went up. I think that's a I mean that's a great perspective to keep, and it's an amazing, I guess, realization that you had where you're like, hey, I I still love this, even though I'm not like the best or I'm not always winning like I had been in the past. And so I think that speaks to your mindset of just like enjoying it because you just loved it. You did it because you loved it. I think that's a great realization that not everybody who plays at a high level always gets, because if you're always the best, do you love winning or do you love what you're doing?
yeah,
And so I think that's a cool realization to come to. So I guess kind of to ask you kind of a big overall questions. You've said a couple things that you've learned throughout different experiences that you have, but do you think there's like one big overarching theme that you've learned from playing the game of tennis?
yeah. I would say grit. It's like what you learn from tennis, or I learned from tennis, is that if I put in effort, I can get good, or I can get at least better, right? And I looked at my life like that. Like I was like, I know I could get good in tennis. I can do that in other aspects. Like when I was a young kid, I academically was not there at all, like at all.
Hmm.
But tennis taught me is like, no, Preston, if you put in effort, like it is possible. And so I think you learn grit is like effort results. Um, and that was what I learned from tennis is just like, if you put in effort, if you care enough, you can do it. It's like there's nothing beyond your reach if you are willing to put in the required effort. If you are willing and you have the desire, there's nothing that you can't do. That's kind of what I learned from tennis.
Yeah, wow. How do you think you've seen that translate into other aspects of your life where you've seen like I put in the effort and I've seen the results?
I would say two things. Academics is where I need an A in this class, or I need this and whatever, is like I know I can achieve it if I study long enough. It's like I had biology last semester, and I told myself, okay, here's this biology test. If I study for 15 hours, I know I can get an A because I've done enough practice problems. I've seen every practice problem that will show up. I've looked at I've know every bullet point in the slide, the slide that the professor provided. And so academics is one of them. Another one would be I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I absolutely felt that like with learning a new language, um, like if I put in effort, I can get there. If I put in effort to love, I will see them become more full of joy. And to me, that was like the greatest feeling on earth. It applies to everything, especially I would say like fitness, academics, my mission, um, and like social confidence, like all of that.
Hmm.
But mostly academics and my mission, I would say, are the most like
Yeah.
first things that come to mind.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's so simple. There's a quote by Alex Hormozy that says, "Do so much work that they'd be silly to doubt you." That's a paraphrase, but it's essentially that effect. It's like do so much work that there's no reason for yourself to doubt you. There's no reason for anyone else to doubt you. Like they would be silly to doubt you because of the amount of work that you've done. I think to what you said with academics, with your social life, with your mission, with tennis, like you did so much work that would be silly for someone else to doubt you in your abilities and in your capacity to do well on a test or to have a social interaction or to achieve whatever you want essentially.
Yeah.
I think it's such a powerful lesson to be able to say, I have enough confidence because I put in so much work
Right.
to get to this point. Like, there's no reason that I should worry because I know I did the work. I've put in the hours, I've done the work. And like, why walk into the test worrying that you're going to get a bad grade? That's discrediting everything you've done up until this point. And so I think just to that sentiment, it's an amazing reflection and thing that tennis has taught you in such a like, fun way
Yeah.
because it's a rewarding way for you, and it's been such a passion of yours. Um, here's a fun little question. I had a good time. I asked this to a previous guest, but if tennis were to be gone, obviously you still enjoy. You don't play at a I guess super competitive level now, but you still enjoy it. If it were to disappear tomorrow, what do you think the most? What would you miss the most out of it? What do you think would be like if it was all gone? What would you miss the most?
I would miss the joy of getting in the zone, of like being locked in, even in casual play, like during a rally. If you're playing with someone similar to your level, you can't think about that joy of being like, boom, boom, trying to win. And then oftentimes, because those rallies go so long, and like eventually someone makes a mistake or you hit a winner,
Yeah,
when you're playing with someone, you just laugh. Like the ending of a rally is always so fun.
yeah,
It's funny. You get a laugh of like, oh, your buddy tripped or you tripped or you hit a dumb shot, and like the rally was like 50 shots and you missed the easiest one.
yeah,
Like I would say those two things. It's like the joy of like getting locked in, and then when you're locked in sometimes and you're playing with your buddies, like I miss like laughing with friends. It's like you hit a goofy shot or you looked dumb when you slipped. Like that's fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I miss for sure.
That's awesome. I think being able to, I think a lot of the things that you've said today have reminded me of something that our other friend Preston has said, where there's there's a beauty in being completely like just locked into what you're doing, like no distractions. It's just like it's kind of blissful
100%.
because while you're so physically exhausted and you're doing a lot of running around and hitting the ball and just like you're so switched on, it's almost like there's no problems in your
Yeah.
life. It's like there could be all things going downhill in your life, but if you're completely locked in the game of tennis, it's just like I guess a peaceful place for you probably to where you can just enjoy. And like you said, like tennis is a game where you can't just play by yourself.
Yeah.
So there's always the enjoyment of being with another person and playing against someone else. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So one we're gonna have I think two less questions, but this is kind of like a fun question before we get to like kind of like a more serious or advice centered. Final question. If you could play a match against a pro tour player or just anyone in the world, who would you choose to play with and why?
So I don't know if you know this person.
Okay.
They're famous. Rafa Nadal.
Yeah.
To me is the personification of grit. Like if tennis builds grit, he is the trophy boy of that phrase. He if you watch his matches, there's it will be the last point and he'll be like he doesn't lose very often. But let's say he's losing and it's the very last point. He will be hitting his hardest on every single shot, knowing that like maybe he probably has a less than 1% chance of winning. He never gives up and he never stops fighting. And not to say that like I want to get on the court and like duel it out with him because he would destroy me.
Yeah.
It would be fun to hit, and see how insane his shot is.
Yeah.
And then it would be fun just to talk to him and just to see his mental focus when he plays and then chat with him after. But he represents grit for the sport of tennis and for I think a lot of other people who enjoy watching.
Yeah. I think not only like obviously it would be fun, but like it's not a fair match.
No, not at
Not
all.
in the slightest.
Getting destroyed.
But I think just the opportunity to be there and then talk to him, just learn about where that stems from, and I'm sure you could learn something off the court without him, like just by watching interviews or something. But being able to be there in person and learn from him individually, I'm sure it would be a like an amazing experience. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, the last question I have to do for you today, Preston, is an opportunity for you to give your advice to anyone listening about if they are eager to start something, a new passion of theirs, whether it be a sport or a hobby or an art form or whatever it may be, what would your advice be to someone who's starting out on their journey of a new passion? What would your advice be for that?
It's a great question. I would say put your feet in the water a little bit, test it out, and don't expect yourself when you start a new hobby to be passionate about like the first hour you do it. Give yourself grace, like give yourself time to love it. For me, it took me a few months to learn that I loved tennis, right? It wasn't the first time I played, but it was maybe the 5th, the 10th, the 50th, and the 100th where I was just like, this is my favorite thing in the world. So give yourself time to start enjoying the passion. And then I kind of had this thought. It was like, passion is found in the endeavor or the effort of endeavor. It's like, I want to do this. I want to be a good artist or I want to be a good tennis player. The passion is found in the pursuing of it. It's not found in like thinking about it. So just do it. Practice, play for a little bit. Don't pontificate about it for too long. Just play or draw or go up that mountain. And in the process of going up that mountain or painting or playing tennis with your friends, you will find your passion, if that makes sense. And then the last point I'll just say is, to me, passion is joy. Passion is what gives life energy. It's what gives you the desire and the will to just like go crush it and just to feel amazing about life. And so don't beat yourself up if you don't enjoy something for an hour. Like try it for a little bit more than that. And then, you'll find the joy in the endeavor, right? You're not going to find it thinking about it. You're going to find it in doing. And you'll find that passion is joy. And that's my promise to the listeners here. If you're looking for joy, you will find it in the endeavor, in the effort. And that's what life really is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think we spend so much time in our lives romanticizing or fantasizing about what could be. But like you said, the joy and the beauty from the actual pursuit comes in the act of doing it. You can think about it all you want, but I think, like you said, it only ever comes when we act and we take the time to pursue.
Yeah.
So Preston, thank you so much. I've really appreciated the conversation that we've had. You've shared many stories that I was not aware of. I mean, we've known each other for so long, and I think what you've shared has been amazing. You've shared great advice. You've shared great insights. So I just want to say thank you for coming on, and I really appreciated you being here. So thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks, you, Jacob.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this week's episode. And we're so excited. And I'm very grateful to everyone who's been listening and engaging. If you made it to the end of this conversation, um, send me a DM, send me a comment of the favorite thing that you learned from this episode from Preston's wisdom, and I'll be sure to reply to you and get back to you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.